Ready to visit Cinderella Castle by yourself? Find out how on this week's episode of the Theme Park Hipster Show. Hey, Theme Park Hipsters! It's your host, Nikki J, the owner of ThemeParkHipster.com, where I help you plan the best solo theme park vacations with the latest tips, reviews, personal stories, and more. Happy New Year, everyone! Yay! I'm so happy to be back on chatting with you guys about solo travels and theme parks and all that good stuff. Now, today we are heading over to the Magic Kingdom to talk about how to do this theme park by yourself. Yes, we have talked about many theme parks of doing them alone, but we have not conquered the number one theme park in the world. But before we get there, I have this week's Solo Traveler of the Week. Yes, I'm so excited to share this story. This week's story comes from Lizzie, and I hope I am pronouncing your name right. She says, "Hi, Nikki. I just want to say thank you for your blog. It inspired me to go on my first solo trip ever. Your blog was the inspiration that I needed to get off my butt and just do it. I'm from American Samoa, a South Pacific island, which is pretty far from the East Coast, so I simply lived through others' photos. After reading your blog and listening to your podcast, I booked my flights and all that jazz. Most of my family and friends tried to change my mind or discourage me from traveling so far by myself, but reading your blog put those doubts and fears to rest. I'm at the airport ready to head home, and I'm already planning my next one. I had one of the most freeing experiences of my life at Disney World and Universal Studios to close out 2019 and begin 2020. So thank you for the inspiration, even if you didn't realize it." Thank you so much for that email. I mean, guys, sometimes when I do these shows and I'm writing the blog post to kind of get you out there to go solo, I don't know if it's even affecting anyone. So when I get messages like that, it just puts a fire under my butt to keep going because I really want you just to be courageous and do it. I'm not saying that you always have to travel solo by yourself. I'm just saying to just try it one time, just to see how it is, even if it's just for a half a day and you have people coming in later. But, with all the tips, we'll get to that later. Now that we have that beautiful letter and that introduction out the way, let's talk about what it's like going to the Magic Kingdom and how you can ease your way into it. Now, I know that you're probably thinking, there's no way I could do the Magic Kingdom by myself. Isn't that for like families or something? What are adults even doing there? Well, let me tell you that if you have that inner child inside of you and you just think that the Cinderella Castle is quintessential Disney, then you must come here as a solo traveler. I mean, I don't want you to feel as if people are going to look at you weird or people are going to notice you, because let me tell you, no one is going to notice that you're by yourself. Plus, the Magic Kingdom is definitely a starter theme park in the sense of if you're trying to get into that Disney life. It is Disney. It is the place that people, when they mention Disney World, they just assume that you mean the Magic Kingdom, not understanding that Walt Disney World is composed of 4 theme parks, water parks, resorts, hotels in Disney Springs. So it's massive. And the Magic Kingdom is just one little theme park that is inside of this beautiful world. Now, with the addition of Tron, that famous roller coaster that is out there in Shanghai Disneyland, you're going to want to make your way over here to the Magic Kingdom and try that solo trip. And trust me, it's not going to be scary because I'm going to give you some tips. Yes, I will. I promise you, I'm going to give you some tips. Now, before you even get to the Magic Kingdom, I want you to kind of practice back at home. When you are trying to get into the habit of doing things by yourself, it's good to kind of like take baby steps. So maybe go to the movies alone. And you're like, well, I go to the movies by myself. I mean, okay, well, if that's you, then take it up a notch. Go to dinner alone. And it could be just sitting at a table or the bar. One thing I'm just trying to get you to do is just get in the habit of doing things by yourself so that you won't feel so anxious if you haven't dipped your toes into the solo travel world. The next thing that I want you to do is to plan out your day. Now, you don't have to stick to this plan, but when you have something, I call it a framework. When you have some framework, it kind of gives you an idea of what you want to do. So you're not constantly thinking, I'm by myself. Instead, you're like, I'm going to head to this ride. I got my fast passes over here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have dinner here or lunch here. And with that on your mind, you're just kind of like in the mode of, let me go, go, go. And in between that go, go, go moments, between all of your fun little attractions and things you want to see and do, you are discovering things on your own. And that's that freedom. And if you do have a fast pass to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and you realize, I think I want to go have lunch at the Contemporary at the Wave restaurant or something like that, then you'd be like, let me just push my fast pass back. It might not happen for that ride, but that's the thing. You can do those kind of things on your trip. You might just change it to another day on your Disney trip and you walk over to the Contemporary or you take a monorail there and you just have a nice lunch instead of in the parks. But those are just some of the things that you do when you are planning your solo trip and you're just going with the flow, even if you do have your day planned out. So in the event that you have been making all of your plans and kind of getting an itinerary together, for me, I like to go, clockwise when I go to the Magic Kingdom. So I walk down Main Street, I bust that left, Adventureland, and then I just make my way in kind of like a half a circle, it's technically a circle around the Magic Kingdom. I've been doing that since I was a kid. I try to change, but that's just my route. So you can read more about that on ThemeParkHipster.com if you type in Magic Kingdom for adults. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is to make all of your reservations, your fast passes. You want to get those things locked down, especially your must-dos. You have your plan in place. Now we got to make sure we can get some of those plans taken care of. And in case you don't know, the Fast Pass system at Walt Disney World is a system that they allow their guests to make your own little time slot for an attraction days out. You can do that for things like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you have Splash Mountain, you have Space Mountain, Haunted Mansion, all of those top attractions at the Magic Kingdom. You can go ahead and get your Fast Pass reservations booked online. And you can do this through the My Disney Experience account that you can create on the Disney website. And you can go ahead and log in on the Disney app and just type in your information that you used on the website, and you could just make your changes there. But always have something locked before your trip. And then while you're there, if your time has changed, if you meet up with other solo travelers like me, and you want to change a fast pass time, you can do all of that within your phone. This is also the time to get your reservations for any of the restaurants at the Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom restaurants can be difficult to get in for the popular ones like Be Our Guest restaurant. That's the Beauty and the Beast restaurant. The Cinderella Royal Table character meet and greet. That one is always so booked up. Liberty Tree Tavern is kind of like an all you care to enjoy style type of place. And those are just to name a few, but you want to have your reservations in place before you get there. And definitely in between that big meal, like your big lunch, or if you do a big dinner at those restaurants, the little kiosk and little quick service. The quick service is kind of like just walking up, getting your meal, ordering it, getting it, going back to the table with your stuff. But you can do all that. You can do those. You can do kiosks in between your main dinner. Now that I go a lot, I just mainly eat at kiosks. Plus, I like to discover new things because sometimes the kiosks, they have some little good things that if you don't pay attention to that menu, you will miss. The next thing you want to do is to make sure you take your time exploring the Magic Kingdom. Try not to rush through the day. And you'll be able to accomplish this by not going on those busy times, which is holidays, when school's out. So you want to pick those little odd times that people are not thinking about traveling and go to Disney during that time. So when you're there, you can discover unique hidden gems like Tom Sawyer Island. It's so magical back there. That is solo travelers' paradise because it's quiet. It kind of gives you the feeling and vibe of old Disney, especially like a Disneyland vibe. So definitely do that. The next thing that I recommend you doing is that you experience all your must-do Magic Kingdom attractions. When you are by yourself, this is your time that you have your itinerary and nobody's going to stop you but yourself. This is your time to do whatever you want because you don't have to wait for people or their plans or someone saying, my stomach hurt, I want to go home, anything like that. This is your time to do what you want. It doesn't matter if you want to get on Splash Mountain a bunch of times and be soaked by the end of the day. Because you can do that. You can do the craziest things that when people are with you, they're like, oh my God, I don't want to watch this parade. I don't watch a fireworks show. It doesn't matter because we're solo travelers. We do what we want within legal bounds, of course. I have to say that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want anybody coming after me. Now, while you are there, some of my must-do Magic Kingdom rides and attractions that I say you should do is that you should, 1, conquer all the mountains, which is Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Railroad, and Splash Mountain. And if you got a little extra cash and you got an extra time at the Disney trip, I say do the Keys to the Kingdom tour. It takes you on an in-depth behind-the-scenes tour of the Magic Kingdom, and you'll learn some things that you did not know. But it does last about like the whole day, almost like 8 hours. So this is something that maybe not your first trip, but maybe another trip. Another thing I say definitely do, be our guest and ride a Tomorrowland People Mover at night. It's so magical. And if you have already watched the fireworks show, this is a good time to get on it and look at the fireworks show from the People Mover. I just love doing stuff at the Magic Kingdom, and definitely head over and check out Carousel Progress. Yes, it's a little dated, but it is something that you can tell Walt Disney himself was a part of. The next thing you want to keep in mind while you are on your solo trip is to remember to socialize. Yes, just because you're by yourself doesn't mean you cannot talk to people. Even if you just say hi to a cast member, spark up a conversation like, hey man, I really like your hair or something like that. Just spark up a conversation. You never know who you may meet along the way. And you can even do things just like joining the Theme Park Hipster Facebook group or meeting us over on the Theme Park Hipster app or anything just to meet the people, spark up the conversations in these groups. Get the conversation going, guys. I mean, nobody will know that you are making a solo trip unless you let us know and let us know some of your concerns, the things you plan on doing, because we cannot grow as a community if we don't know that you're even thinking about doing this. So go over on the Theme Park Hipster Facebook group, chat with us. You can do it within the app, or you can just send me a message on Instagram and we'll go that way. The next thing that I want you to do while you are on your Magic Kingdom solo trip is to take advantage of the Disney PhotoPass system, which is a system that allows you to take all your photos using a Disney cast member at different locations across the whole resort. And what will happen is that when you take a photo and you have your Magic Band or your Disney theme park ticket, which you can use either one because your Magic Band will act as your theme park ticket and it's something that you'll use for Fast Pass admission. The cast member will scan it each time they take your photo. But if you are not like, I don't want to deal with all that, which I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of it. But if you're like, I don't want to deal with it, still use the cast members to take photos of you using your phone because you are going to be on a solo trip and you don't have to worry about going up to a stranger. You can just ask a cast member and they'll take a photo of you. And most of the time with the photographers there, they'll get you some good shots. So that's something you want to do. And some of my favorite locations to get photos at in the Magic Kingdom is, of course, in front of Cinderella Castle. But there's a spot when you first get into the Magic Kingdom, it has the train station. I like to go on the second floor and then get that Oh, beautiful shot of Main Street and Cinderella Castle right there in the center. And if you could do that during the fireworks show, that's even better. Another location I like to do is to go into Tomorrowland with all the crazy colors. They have those famous Disney walls in there. And just take photos in front of some of the craziest colors and bright colors and all the futuristic looks in Tomorrowland. Another photo spot that I really like doing is over there. As you can see, the Liberty boat going by. It's near Haunted Mansion, that area, and kind of just getting different angles over there. Now that we have went through some tips to kind of get you started, get you there and what to expect, I want you to definitely know the reasons why traveling solo is definitely something you have to do, or at least try. One of the things is that you have freedom. And if you remember the reader's email that I read earlier on the show, she talked about that freedom. And it's not that you have to be like, oh, I can do whatever I want. This is my time. The freedom in a sense of these decisions, they are yours. Every little opportunity that comes, it is yours. And sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's daunting because when you're used to planning things with people and, you can bounce ideas off of, you always have that backup person. But when you're by yourself, you kind of have to depend on yourself, which is okay. That is okay. And one of the things that I would say that you should do while you're on your trip is to take a journal. There are even Disney journals. Yes, even on Amazon, you can find Disney travel journals. I have one, and I'll leave one in the show notes for you just in case you need to see it for yourself. But these are times for you to kind of reflect. When you are traveling alone, you get some kind of sense of peace. It's like a quiet time, but with a whole bunch of adventure around you. And when you get back to your room, you can reflect on your day. You can just think about, wow, I really just went on Dumbo by myself. Or I really just did the Haunted Mansion ride by myself. I mean, that's the feat because I can't do the Haunted Mansion by myself. And when I see people do it, I'm like, oh, wow, you're bold. And I know it's fake, but still, I don't want to do that by myself. If I ever do, I will have headphones in and they will kind of like buffer the creepiness of going through that ride by myself. But, a sense of freedom is definitely something that you have to think about when you are going to the Magic Kingdom alone. Another thing you should remember is that when you are traveling alone, you are not alone. I don't want you to confuse traveling alone with loneliness. This traveling alone is you making a decision that I want to do something for myself consciously. And I want to recharge so that I can go back into life and be the best person that I can be. And that's what solo travel does for you. You are not alone. It's not loneliness. You are traveling alone, but it's not loneliness. You have cast members there, other solo theme park travelers that you'll meet along the way. And even if you don't speak to anyone while you're on your trip, you are still surrounded by love, laughter, and fun at the Magic Kingdom. Now, I hope that this week's episode helped you to kind of get that next step into planning your solo Walt Disney World vacation. Remember, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me at ThemeParkHipster@gmail.com. You can download the app if you want to answer Disney trivia while you're waiting in the line at the airport or anything like that for your trip. And just be sure to just come over on the Facebook group if you want to chat with other solo theme park travelers. Keyword chat, because guys, we can't be a community if we're not talking to each other. Anyways, thank you so much once again for taking the time to listen to the Theme Park Hipster show. And remember that you are my friend and you are my family, whether you know that or not. And until next time, happy park hopping hipsters. The content on the Theme Park Hipster show represents my own and not those of any organizations or activity mentioned. I am just someone here who likes to share my own stories to you and hope that I can help you have the best vacation ever.